Hello, fellow figure skating fans and friends. My name is Justin, and I am here to make this video with my predictions with my friend Kanishka on the upcoming 2017 US National Championships. Kanishka, are you ready to do this video with me?
I am. I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So I kind of want this video to be casual, open-ended discussion, but still actually have concrete predictions so we can hold ourselves accountable next year after the results are in. So let's go ahead and start things off with my favorite discipline because that's always fresh in my mind, and that is the ladies. Now, in the past, I would say that the storyline heading into the competition for the ladies discipline has been Ashley versus Gracie. Do you think that's different this year?
I think it's a little bit different this year because if you asked me back in March if it was going to be Ashley versus Gracie, I would have said yes. But now I think the big question I would like to say is Gracie ready for the big scene? And just going off of the Grand Prix season, her showing at the Senior B competition, what was it
Golden
called again?
spin. The golden
Golden
spin.
Spin. A lot of people are questioning whether she's physically and mentally ready to compete. And I think that's the biggest question that's going to be weighing on the audience in Kansas City. So,
Yeah, I think the predictions for the ladies is a little tough because our US ladies are very hot and cold, even Ashley Wagner. I would say yes, Gracie Gold is the biggest question mark. She did so poorly at all of her events, and it wasn't like there was a big technique issue besides like the flip, but you could just tell that her heart isn't in it. It's all mental for her. She looks like she's in amazing shape. Even at Golden Spin, her body looked great. It's she checks out before goes into her jumps, and I don't see her selling the program. I don't see her fighting until the end. So it's going to be tough. The main question is how motivated is she going to be for nationals, and has she made a change in her time off between competitions?
yeah, because that's what she was saying in the fall. Like, after the World Championships, which was disappointing for her, she just took many months off and went on vacation and practically did nothing. And then she practically had like a month in training before Skate America and then had a poor showing there. And it just seemed like it continued on as the season progressed. And
Mhm.
hopefully this time off, considering that she did not compete at the Grand Prix final or anything like that, she trained hard and is back to the Gracie that we all know that she's capable of. So
Yeah. Was there a lot of training though if she went to Golden Spin? I mean, that's still quite a bit of traveling during that time.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, like hopefully Christmas was a good day for Gracie and she was training. I don't know. Part of me
Absolutely.
wants.
I've said this before, even I think on video, but I'll just say it again. Gracie can be great. She has the potential, but I feel like with her track record, when she's amazing at a competition, it's more of a fluke because she hasn't narrowed down the perfect recipe for her to win a competition. So I almost feel like if she does super well and wins another title, that it's not necessarily a sign of consistency for her. It's more random, you know?
I see that. Yeah, like
Okay.
because nationals last year was a great competition for her, minus the short program, and then at Worlds, short program was great, long program was not. So it's like, is this going to be Gracie's time to come back again and then win again? We will see. Let's see what.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start off with who I think is going to win the title, and that is going to be my girl, my bestie, Ashley Wagner. Hot and cold season, especially with not making the Grand Prix final. But when you look at her last Grand Prix, which was Cup of China, she finished sixth there, correct?
Something like that.
Sixth or
Yeah.
fifth, I believe it was sixth. So she finished sixth there, but the long program was not bad.
Oof.
I think the performance was there. You said oof. So many under
Yeah.
rotations. That part was bad. But when you watch the program, for me, it didn't look like she was emotionally disconnected as Gracie was. So I think it's just technique, getting those quick rotations in the air. And maybe is she going back to having short program jitters? Because that short program, the combination was not there at Cup of China.
Yeah, she needs that confidence back. The same confidence that we saw at the World Championships in March. If she can bring back that same energy and same drive, I think that these nationals should be a shoe in for her. Like I predict Ashley as well. So
Absolutely. I'm not sure how great she's going to skate. I would love her to save that great performance for the World Championships, but I think she's going to do enough to win. Inflated PCS, which is done at all national championships. I may be a generous technical caller. I think she's safely in first place. And I actually really think it's the other girls battling for the silver medal here. That's also kind of an interesting storyline. I actually think that it's going to be so close between the rest of the girls. I think Gracie will get the silver medal, barely. I'm going to go on to who I think is going to win the bronze medal, and I think it's going to be Mirai. So I think both will have mistakes. I think Gracie will make errors, have a little higher PCS. Mirai will have more under rotations. So that's how it will pan out. Mariah also had not too bad and not too great of a season. Would you say so?
I would say so. It was not the great outing that we wanted to see after the World Championships, but nonetheless, she fought back, especially during her second Grand Prix, which is kind of nice to see.
I thought she had a moment
Interest,
in the long program.
she did, and I think that was a good confidence boost for her. And it seems like on Instagram and all the different social platforms, she's saying that she had a good Christmas. And for Mirai, personally, it's all about like how she's feeling. She's like a feeling skater, so if she feels good, then she tends to skate well. If she starts having doubt and fear in her eyes, and her brain just checks out, then we see those old habits of under rotations again. So I'm going to go off on a limb, and I'm going to say that Mirai Nagasu is going to win the silver medal, and I'll put Gracie as bronze because I feel like we need Gracie to be there almost at the World Championships just as a safe bet. Like if she performs, she'll get the marks. If she doesn't, we need someone that can perform, and I think she has it all together this season.
Okay. Do you think she would attempt the triple axel at nationals?
If she's going to attempt it, I would attempt it in the long program just because that's a big risk to do it in the short program and then get it under rotation, plus the -3 GOE. So I think if she's going to try it, it should be the long program. Why risk it in the short program? As as a lot of the commentators have said, like you can't win a competition with the short program, but you certainly could lose it. And I think that if Mirai wants to go in and try to win the national championships, she needs to play a little bit conservatively in the long program, but then really go guns blazing in the long program with that triple axel. And it looks good.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wondering if she should just try to go clean without the triple axel because she has such an opportunity to seize to gain the national title back, for the first time since, what was it, 2008? I mean, with Ashley being
Yeah.
hot and cold, Gracie being more cold than hot, I mean, there's really room for Mariah and other skaters to, skate their way to the top of the podium. So we'll see what strategy she and her coach Tom Zakrajcek chooses.
Yeah, we
And
can't forget Mariah Bell though. So
no, I was just going to go into it. I think Mariah Bell will win the pewter medal, aka fourth place here at Nationals. I wish she had a second Grand Prix competition so I could speak more about her. But all I can say is that that was an amazing long program, especially at Skate America.
yeah, it'll be. I feel like the judges are gonna hold her back just a little bit, just because we haven't really seen her go consistent back to back. Like even though she won the silver medal at Skate America, she went to like a senior B, and then she did not win there. And a lot of people were like, "Ooh, you should have won there if you performed this well at Skate America." So I think the judges are gonna be a little bit like, "We like you, but you're not quite there yet." So I think she's gonna be hungry for next year for the Olympics, and
Hmm.
maybe that's when they're gonna propel her to that third or higher position. So
Yeah, I think fourth place should be her goal, fourth or higher, and that could set her up really well for next season, which is an Olympic year.
yeah, and that's the most important thing in these athletes' minds. So
Yeah, if Mariah were to be higher than fourth, she would need help from other skaters because she would not get the program component marks as Ashley. But she can beat a lot of the other girls technically, especially if her triple Lutz triple toe is clean.
And she has two triple triples in the long, right? If I
Yeah, she has one in
correctly.
sequence. I don't remember the exact week sequence, but it had a half loop. I believe it must be a triple flip, half loop, triple Salchow.
Something like that, yeah. So
Hmm?
she does have the technical content to challenge, for sure.
Great. Do you think she'll be fourth too? I didn't catch that.
I think so. She's somewhere between fourth and the actual podium. So we will
Okay,
see.
great. All right, so now we can discuss just other girls who can make it to the top six or who can potentially challenge for the podium. I want to first bring up Courtney Hicks, who had a relatively good season for her by winning the bronze medal at Rostelcom Cup. Also, thanks to Yulia Lipnitskaya having a disastrous free skate. But still, nonetheless, she did good enough to be the next person to climb onto the podium after the Russian girls.
Yeah, so Courtney Hicks has always been up there in the contention for the medals. I think what has held her back is that she has this habit of like making a three turn in all her combinations. Maybe that's just the technique. I like her energy. I like her spunk, as I would like to say it. Um, if she can deliver and have the other top skaters that we just talked about struggle a little bit, she could definitely make a move. But it's kind of hard when you're competing against the Ashleys and the Gracies and the ones that have already established themselves as a top U.S. ladies competitor.
Absolutely, and she's gotten better with getting rid of the two or three turns in between her combinations because that was kind of annoying to see. She's getting better with that, but still some really wild landings on her jumps. If she can just control it and just she gets the rotation, so if she can stick the landings, she's kind of golden. Really low PCS though, so she's really going to have to be very clean. She's been a pewter medalist before in the past, and it's taken her a few years to kind of get back up to that level at the national championships. This could be the year that she does it. I am a fan of her long program, Hunchback de Notre Dame. I think it works for her.
She seems to love that program too. So when you love a program, it'll come across to the audience, and I think hopefully the judges will see that as well. But Courtney's up
Absolutely.
there.
Who else for the ladies? Who
So I
had
really like Angela Wang. I know, but she's like a wild card if there ever was one, because she does really great in like Challenger series. But then if she gets like a Skate America or something, then she either withdraws or just does not compete. So I think Angela Wang has the potential to be a star, but she never really has delivered it under pressure internationally, especially when she gets like a big international assignment. So it'll be interesting to see if she comes out hungry. Because right, I think this year, out of all years, the door is open for really anyone to take on that third spot. With Gracie struggling, I think anyone can make that world team. So Angela Wang, that's gonna be one of my predictions.
I
And
agree
then
with you.
Caroline Zhang, she's coming back after surgery from last season, right?
That's exciting,
And
actually.
she looked good. Like I don't know, maybe it's just me being thrown back to like 2007, 2008 when she first came along, but that triple loop combination that she's been like nailing this season, it makes me like go like, do the judges like her now again, or are they going to be like, sorry girl, like you were so yesterday?
I'm so glad
So
she's attempting it. I didn't think she would when I heard the news that she was coming back. The fact that she's still going for it shows how tough of a competitor she is. I just hope she's not as slow skating her programs like she usually is. It'd be great. I haven't watched her programs yet, but I would like to see just a little more speed than the last time she competed at nationals.
don't expect too much though.
Okay, fine. If she goes for the triple loop combination, I will be happy. Even if it's called under, she stays on her feet. I'll be
We'll be
happy.
like,
So
okay, that's
yeah,
clean in our heads. There you
so
go.
good for Caroline Zhang. Let's see who else was assigned a Grand Prix. So Paulina is the biggest question mark, correct? I actually don't think she's going to compete here at U.S. Nationals. I think I last read an article on Ice Network that said she was 50-50. If she does compete, I think she's going to be a little out of shape compared to the other ladies. What's your take?
Ooh. Polina. Okay, so I don't think she's the biggest question mark because I still think it's Gracie's who gets the biggest question mark going into
Okay, that is
nationals.
true. That's true.
But as far as Polina goes, I don't think it's if she's not 100% ready. I don't think it's wise for her to be here just because the nationals are going to be in San Jose, and you want to show your best effort here the year before, leading up to the Olympics, right? So I think if she's only feeling 50-50 and she's not feeling strong enough, it'll be a disappointment for her to finish like, let's say, 8th. So, especially considering that you were scheduled to go to the world team last year and you went to the world team the last 2 years. I think it would be a disappointment, to say the least, if she competes here and has like a so-so performance.
Absolutely. So I don't expect to see her at nationals. Who else can we talk about? I don't think Tyler Pierce competed at a Grand Prix, but she did do well last year at nationals, so I'm pretty sure she wants to back that up this year as well because last season it was a surprise. So I think this season she wants to go to nationals and prove herself that she can be consistent and that last year was not a fluke performance.
Definitely agree with that.
And then I feel like I'm missing a few people. The ladies. Let me look. I have the list of qualifiers up here. Amber Glenn. She can challenge, I want to say top 6. I'm not sure if I see her grabbing a spot on the podium.
Yeah, I think like the top 5 are pretty much set. We just don't know where.
What about Karen Chen? You wouldn't place her in the top 5?
Ooh, Karen Chen. She's an interesting one too, because like we've seen her do so well at nationals that one year where she kind of like stole the spotlight from even Ashley. So
too bad it was really one time that I saw her be great.
Yeah, so we will have to see what Karen Chen, which Karen Chen will show up at these nationals.
She has a habit of falling, and I think that really interrupts her programs. Like falling is her mistake as opposed to under rotations, and she falls often. So, but if she was clean, I could totally see her having a moment because she is a beautiful skater. Great skating skills, actually, for being so young.
And she also has like enormous jumps. Like she jumps. If there's, I don't know, she jumps really high. So she's very exciting. It'll be interesting to see if she can deliver. That's the only thing for me.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think that's good for the ladies. Let's sum up our predictions. So I went Ashley, Gracie, Mariah. You went Ashley?
Ashley, Mirai, Gracie, Mariah, and I'll put like Courtney Hicks, Karen Chen, and the rest of them.
Yeah, I was going to put Courtney Hicks in 5th too. Okay, so we'll have to see who gets the second place finisher correct in about a month, right? Crazy. Time flies. Okay, so let's move on to pairs. So I want to discuss first Haven, Denny, and Brandon Frazier. Will you let me know your thoughts on them?
All right, so I was always a fan of Haven, Denny, and Brandon Frazier. Like when they came out with their Lion King program,
that was
2
so
seasons
good.
ago.
Yeah,
especially at Skate America, I was just like, I liked them, and I thought they were going to be like the next great thing for U.S. Figure skating. And then they obviously Haven had the injury, and then took some time off, and then I was not sure how their comeback was going to be, but this season, with Alexa Sebeka and Chris Knierim out, it was nice to see Haven, Denny, and Brandon Frazier come back strong. And I think had they done it a little bit better, or had the judges scored them a little bit better at their second Grand Prix, they could have made that Grand Prix final. So I'm hopeful for the pairs team just in general for United States figure skating, because now we have 2 great teams going at it together. So
I'm still bitter, by the way, with their placement at Skate Canada. They should have totally won the bronze medal. And you have to give them credit for doing 2 competitions 1 week from each other. That's so difficult to do. Do you see them winning nationals?
I say yes. It'll all depend on if Alexa and Chris will be there and they're at their A game, because I think that it'll be a battle between those 2 teams. but I'm going to give the edge to them just because they competed in the Grand Prix and they have like programs under their belt. Don't get me wrong, I like the other. I like Alexa and Chris as
Oh no,
well.
so don't
So
get me wrong. I think I told you this week when we were chatting that I thought for sure it was going to be Heyman Denny and Brandon Frazier's competition. Their title to lose. However, this morning in the shower, so like an hour ago, I was just thinking about us recording this video, and I went, you know what? Alexa and Chris have so much international experience under their belt. I think they know how to deal with this kind of pressure. And because it's true, they've been through so much injury being left off of the last Olympic team when they had a really good shot at making it, qualifying for the Grand Prix final. They've had so much experience. I think they're going to be okay at nationals. Maybe not tip-top form, but good enough to claim the title. And Heyman Denny, Brandon Frazier, I think are going to be a close second. They've just done so well internationally this season. I don't see how they could just bomb at nationals. Unless Haven does need to work on her individual jumps, let's be honest. But her throws and everything else about their skating, even their programs, are great. A lot of people criticize their free program for being too boring, but I'm a hopeless romantic, so I think it's very lovely.
yeah. So I think
And
it'll be close. I think it'll be close.
absolutely, maybe Alexa and Chris will get a fluff piece on NBC about
They,
where they are with taking the season off and recovering from a major injury.
yeah. Major injury plus the wedding
Hmm.
over the summertime.
Yeah,
They'll definitely get
yeah.
a fluff piece. So
Yeah, so and I want Alexa and Chris to not put pressure on themselves because just like many other skaters, I think they skate the best when they're relaxed, emotionally speaking.
we will have to watch the side by side triples with Alexa and Chris because they tend to struggle with the side by side jumps.
So does
So
Haven, though. So that
there
the
you
title
go.
may
Who's
come
gonna
down
bring
to
it?
that who lands the side by side jumps. We'll have to
There
keep an
you
eye
go.
for it. Okay, so you and I are disagreement with the gold and silver. That's good. It's a little bit of a competition between us. So who do you have winning the bronze medal at nationals?
I think it'll be Tarah Kayne and Danny O'Shea. I think that being the reigning national champion, they'll get a little bit of inflated PCS. But the thing is, they tend to be consistent when the pressure is off. And I think a lot of people are writing them off now that the Grand Prix season was not the greatest for them. So they did come back stronger in the long program in their second Grand Prix event.
I'm not sure about
So
that because I'm pretty sure the message is going to be repeated to them all week or weekend long of the competition that they're the reigning national championships, and that's a lot of pressure.
do you think that will get to them? Like, do you think that that'll
I think
mess with their
so.
psyche a little bit?
I mean, yeah.
Because right now, Alexa and Chris are coming off like, what can you bring? Um, Haven and Brandon are going like, you had a strong season. And then Tarah and Denny are getting, you are the reigning national champions. So they all have a little bit of pressure on themselves, a little bit differently, but they all have a pressure in a different way. So it'll be interesting to see who is mentally strong. I think that's what it's going to come down to between those top three. Is going to be who is mentally strong with what the outside is telling them.
Absolutely. So I just agreed with everything you said about Tara and Danny. I don't know why I'm hesitating to place him in third, but now that I think about it, they do have a good shot at the bronze medal. I would love for Marissa and Mervin to win the bronze medal. They are just very hot and cold and
I love
very
them too. See,
very
yeah,
inconsistent these days, but I keep waiting for them to skate their journey long program.
yeah. I think a
I
lot of people are.
mean, I am just waiting for that moment to happen. Hopefully, it's at nationals. We will see.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people are waiting for that journey program to be clean. I think that's why they kept it this season because it was like an audience favorite. So,
Mhm. And Kanishka, you didn't say your quote about Dick Button and
oh,
defending a national title.
so Dick Bennett and I think Scott Hamilton also has said it. Like you can't win a national championship in the short program, but you can definitely lose it.
No, not that one.
Which one?
How the quote about how it's most difficult to defend your national title.
Oh, so Dick Button has said that too. Like the first time defending your national championship is like the hardest one. After the first time, it gets a little bit easier. Unless you're
Absolutely.
Ashley Wagner, then it gets harder each time.
Absolutely. I know you were excited about saying that, so I just had to remind you.
There's so
And
many quotes out there, so it's like hard to remember all of them. But yeah,
right. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for pairs. Let's move on to men's. Oh, this one actually gets interesting. I just want to talk about it. I'm just so excited to say it. I think Nathan Chen will win the national title. And I don't even think he has to land all four of his quads cleanly in the long program.
I think if he has a great short program, that's all it takes. I know they say you can't win a program with a short program, but since he's attempting two quads, he can definitely distance himself away from the rest of the competitors in the short program.
And he doesn't under rotate his quads usually. So even with the fall, it's not that meant that severe of a loss for points to rotate your two quads and fall. I mean, he could still be in contention after the short program for the title.
Definitely, I would love to see that program, the short program, clean with the triple axle because I know he did the two quads and everyone's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," and then he doubles the axle. So it'd be interesting to see him go.
Definitely attempt the triple axel. It's a little bit of a scary jump for him, but I say go for it. Get the
But yeah, I predict
rotation.
that he will win as well.
I don't know
So
why. I just have a feeling that he's going to have another moment, especially after the long program, just like at the Grand Prix final. I don't need to go into the details because I did a Grand Prix final recap, but I think he's going to have
yeah, that kid
just
is
as good of a moment.
insane as far as what he's attempting. Jaw drop right there with all the different quads that he's attempting. Before long, we'll probably see a quad axle from him. Who knows?
Mm.
Who knows?
Oh, please work on
Maybe I
other
should not put this
things
in.
first. Yeah. Work on other aspects of your ski, like his spins. Oh, if he could just get all level four spins at the same time, ooh, his tech score would be even higher than it already is. Um,
Definitely.
Work on spins before quad axle.
There
That's
you go,
Justin
Nathan.
Lamb's advice. Okay, do you see him winning too?
Yeah, I see Nathan Chen winning. I think this is his breakthrough season. I think last year they were not 100% ready to give it because it was his first senior nationals, I believe.
Yeah,
But I think now, from what we saw at the Grand Prix final, they are like, we're going to support you now. So
absolutely. So maybe Nathan Chen is a big storyline for the men's going into nationals. I'd say another one is Adam versus Jason. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so. It's just tough
It's
because I
so
love them
tough.
both.
Many people have asked me my opinion. I was like, "Ooh, we'll see," and we can discuss, who would come out clean, blah blah blah. But we actually do have to make predictions. I think I came up with one. I think it's going to be Jason winning the silver and then Adam winning the bronze. I would have said opposite. I would have switched the two before the Grand Prix final. Adam's very much an emotional skater, as in how he performs depends on how he's feeling emotionally. I think that he really was not that happy with his skates at the Grand Prix final. I think it could have been the opposite of a confidence booster. And so I think that leaves room for joyous Jason to continue training. They're both really good with the quads now. They just have to deliver it under pressure. Jason landed his quad toe clean at Skate America in the long program. Oh, not clean. He stood up on it, but it was called under, even though most of us thought it was clean. I think the tech specialists at Nationals will be a little more generous and call that clean.
I think so. It is the U.S. Nationals after all. Oof. Oh, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to predict. I think as I feel like the viewers are going to be like, what's going on in Kanishka's head? But if the men skate after the ladies do, it'll all Adam's skating will depend on how Ashley skates.
No, that very much makes sense.
Because if Ashley skates well, Adam will be like, I want to do the same thing, and he'll skate well. So, ooh, it's a tough one. For right now, I'll put Adam up there. It'll be very close between Jason and him if they both go clean. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. It could go either way. So
I think the judges will give Jason higher PCS by a smidge just because of his beautiful skating lines.
skating lines, transitions. Yeah, there's more going on in Jason's program.
Jason's programs, the way it's choreographed, complements the good part of his skating. Adam, he can have like the skate of his life. Some of the not so beautiful parts of his skating still come out. Like the stroking, the crossovers, the positions aren't always great. And I'm not criticizing Adam, still an amazing skater, but I'd have to say for that reason, Jason
Yeah, it'll
has,
come down to preference.
yeah. So, yeah, so we'll see how the judges are feeling that night. And then, so that's going to be an interesting storyline to watch. And then there's Max Aaron, who I'm pretty sure wishes he was part of the conversation for the podium. But unfortunately, his performances this season are quite lackluster, as well as his program choice, especially The Lion King for his free program. In my
Well, the
opinion.
interesting, yeah. So the interesting thing with Max Aaron is that he has a new short program that he's debuting
Oh, that's
at the
right.
U.S. Nationals. So how will that be perceived is another question. I think he'll always be the question as far as like top four goes, but sometimes his programs are lacking in finesse. And
I have a question. So, because he
yes,
changed his short program, I haven't seen it. I think other people have. But I've heard this comment. I'm going to reiterate it. What's the point in changing your program if you're not changing the actual qualities about your skating that need to be improved? Like, are you trying to find a piece of music that masks your flaws a little bit and hoping that translates to higher PCS? Because that does not always work.
that is true. It doesn't always work, but perhaps this piece of music is more, as you said, it probably masks the weaknesses in his skating. And I think for a skater like Max, who doesn't have those naturally elegant lines or the skating skills, you need to find music that kind of works in your style of skating. And from what I saw on Instagram, this program is more tailored towards his strengths.
Okay. I mean,
So
sure, then maybe that's the right thing to do, but also work on improving your actual skating, please. And I'm a fan of Max. I like that he has been, you know, um, an advantageous jumper from the beginning. Maybe not so much now that all of these other American men are getting their quads consistent and Nathan Chen is on the scene. So not so much anymore, but back in the day, like when he won his first national title, that was a big victory for him. It almost seems like that was a big splash, and he hasn't really lived up to the expectation of skating like a U.S. national champion, at least internationally.
yeah, I hope that even if he does not make the world team this year, like I hope that he goes and works on the in betweens and becoming more of a complete skater right after nationals. Like let's say he finishes fourth or third even and does not make the world team. Go take that as almost like a, what do you call it?
A sign.
A sign that you need to work on something and just go work on it during this season. So then by the time next season comes along, you can say, look at me, I've improved. Because I feel like he is one of those skaters that is easily disappointed in himself. Like, remember,
Yeah.
so I would rather see him use these disappointments and really work to improve himself. So then when he comes back, he could just be like, look at me, like I've changed and I've grown as a skater in the last couple of months.
Yeah, if anything, for this nationals, I just want him to be proud of his performances. And I think it's possible for Max to be really clean and still be off the podium. So I just want him to be proud of himself.
Yeah. We like Max here.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have our top four. Who do you think are some other athletes that could break into the top six?
Grant Hochstein.
That's right. Beautiful skater. Not good results this season.
This season has been really disappointing. I was hoping that by going to the World Championships last season, we would see a confidence boost from him, but instead it looked like he just kept struggling after each competition. And it was hard to see because he is a
Yeah.
beautiful skater, as you said.
He also had a moment in Boston.
He did.
So I'm surprised that hasn't encouraged him to have a stellar season.
Something is not working. Hopefully he was able to address it after his second Grand Prix. So
I will say a clean Grant though can definitely maybe even beat out Max Aaron. Although
True.
Max does more quads, but I can see Grant getting as high as third place if a lot of the men are not on their game. But I don't know why. I just don't see him doing well at nationals. I'm a strong believer that how you performed on the international season, on the international circuit prior to nationals, is just as important than that competition in early January. So I
Yeah.
even have a hard time placing someone on the world team who did not perform well at their two Grand Prix, or someone who didn't have two Grand Prix. But that's just my thinking. I think Nationals is more hyped up for a skater than it has to be.
Yeah. So I
That's
say
just me
fourth
though.
place here at most.
Gotcha. And then who else after that? Ross Minor did not do well this season. I don't have
A lot
him.
of people do like Ross Snyder. That's about it, right? That's about it, right?
Oh, Vincent Joe.
So he skated as a junior this season, right?
Yeah, internationally,
Yes.
but he'll be a
International.
senior at nationals. And I think that was the same case last year, and he did not do too bad. So I think he's going to be great. Reminds me of Nathan Chen, although Nathan Chen is way more advanced with the quads.
Do
But
you think he'll have a Nathan kind of moment like last year, or do you think
I think he can have a moment technically.
uh, we will see?
Raw
Yeah,
skating skills need some work. I also think it just takes time. Vincent is a little younger than
yeah.
Nathan. Yeah. Tim Dolenski is someone else who is a beautiful skater,
Beautiful
but
skater.
we just don't know how they're gonna skate at nationals. They really have to be clean, even to make the final group, I would say.
It'll all come down to quads. I feel like the for like second, third, fourth, fifth. I think it'll all be about the quad. Who can do a quad? Because going into the Olympics, we need people that can do a quad. So if you can't do a quad in your programs and get them ratified as clean, then you're going to be marked out.
Do you think the
Fortunately,
judges are already thinking about the Olympic team?
I think they are.
Yeah, because they start filming promos in the fall. So if they want to
I
hype
think they
someone
are.
up, nationals is the time to do it.
Yeah, so I think it's weighing on the judges right now. Like, who can we send? Especially if we only have two spots, because right now we only have two spots for the Worlds. We desperately want
You're
three.
right. We need to send two American men that could gain us that third spot back. Because I would love to send three men to Korea for the Olympics.
Of course. And it would be disappointing to not send three, especially when we got three spots back. I don't know. It'll be kind of disappointing to see us only send two. So
Absolutely. So I think if Nathan's on the world team, which he should be, that's a big help.
it's a big help. And then it'll come down between Adam and Jason for the second, and then everyone else just follows.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to dance. Big storyline here is celebrating the Shibutanis as reigning national champions because they've had really a stellar season for them on the Grand Prix.
Definitely, yeah. Winning both of their Grand Prix, winning the bronze medal at the Grand Prix final behind the French and the Canadian, actually beating out the French in the short dance at the Grand Prix final.
That's
Just
huge.
I know like the French made mistakes in the short dance, but still, nonetheless, they were second after the short dance, which is a lot, sorry,
It's okay.
which is credit to them, as competitors. So I think it'll be
Absolutely.
Alex and Maia again. I think
Yeah,
it'll
even if people don't love their free dance this season as much as their free dance from last season, which was a fan favorite, it still showcases how beautiful their skating is. I'm not a fan
agree.
of their free dance, but I can still watch it and go, wow, they're so
It's pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah, second and third here will be the questions.
Yeah, go into that.
All right, so I was talking to you about this last night as well. Like
Hmm.
it, it'll come down to like what is the preference of the judges? Are they going to go for something that's more traditional or something that's more modern and contemporary? Are they going? are the marks going to come down to like how they believe that the teams are going to fare at the World Championships? Because right now the top three U.S. ice dancers are obviously Maya Knox, Shibutani, Chock and Bates, and Hubbell and Donohue. So personally, I prefer Hubbell and Donohue for their skating skills and their traditional elegant lines. But internationally, it seems like Chock and Bates are doing better, and the programs are a lot more contemporary that appeal more to an audience. So
You make some good
it'll be
points. Yeah, Madison Hubbell and Zach Donohue, I love their programs better. Their free dance is probably one of my favorite free dances this season. But I will say I'm not. So I love Madison Chalk. Everybody knows that. You know that. I don't love Madison Chalk and Evan Bates's programs this season. I like their short dance much better than their free dance. But even if it's not my favorite programs, I can see it being part of the contemporary program. And it almost seems like Ice Dance wants to continue to evolve and reward innovation from the ice dancers. So I could see that going in their favor. So we have to talk about their results at the Grand Prix final. So yes, Hubbell and Donohue did place above Madison Chalk and Evan Bates. However, that was when Madison made some costly errors. I believe if
short
Madison
dance.
and Evan were clean, they would have placed ahead of Hubbell and Donohue. So I think that if no mistakes happen from the top ice dance teams at nationals, I believe it will be Madison and Evan over Hubbell and Donohue.
That seems fair to say. Yep,
Yeah. So to get this straight, you think Madison Hubbell and Zach Donohue will win the silver medal at nationals?
that's what I want to happen, but
It's not what you want;
I
it's what
don't.
you think will happen. That's what this video is about.
In that case, I'll put Chalk and Bates just because I feel like they have a little bit more of a political push for them to place second here.
Absolutely. They have a higher chance of making a bigger impact internationally. And I think the US judges like that.
At the moment, yeah. So
Hmm.
I think Hubbell and Donohue's moment will come. It's just not this year.
Yeah, ice dancers have to be so patient in the US, I swear.
Yeah, there was a time when everyone was giving up on the Shibutanis, and then now they're finally being propelled. So
Hmm.
I think
Absolutely. Is there any other ice dancers you want to talk about?
so. Kaylin Hawaii and Jean Luc Baker, they've always been up there, but for some reason they're getting like the same kind of like treatment as Hubbell and Donohue are doing, where they're like almost stagnant in their placement, like fourth or fifth at nationals every year. I can tell that they want to be on the top group, but it seems like the United States figure skating is like wait your turn almost. So I think it'll come down to like who's clean. If there's big mistakes from the top, then maybe they can push a little bit more. But I feel like right now they're like
Hmm.
stuck at where
And
they
even
are.
so, with mistakes, that's not even like, yes, mistakes are costly, but they can't drown a top skater because isn't it in ice dance like if you fall or slip up, you just lose a level as opposed to
You
get
just lose a level, yeah.
yeah. Now, if you're a single or a pair skater, you get
Yeah,
an
right.
invalidated element, which is horrific because it's 0 points.
Yeah.
So that's difficult. So I haven't followed their career this season. Two questions: did they get two Grand Prix events, and how did they place?
Oof. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember.
Okay.
But I believe they got like one or two.
Okay,
One,
they at
I,
least got one. I remember hearing their name
yeah.
at one of the events. Okay, so interesting. All right, Kanishka, it is 45 minutes into the video.
Ooh, how did we get that far? I don't
I don't
know.
know
But
why time flies. This is a good way to spend my morning, though.
yeah, it makes us think about skating a little bit more.
Absolutely. So what is it? Today's the 29th, and Nationals is mid-January. So really, like in about 3 weeks, we're
We
gonna
will
find
see.
out the results. Crazy. And I just want to say that U.S. Nationals is one of the greatest national championships to follow live. Like, sure, you can argue that we don't have internationally top skaters. Not my words, other people's words. For some weird reason, I find it super exciting to watch the entire groups of all disciplines, like all 15 plus lady short programs. Same with the men's and pairs. What about you?
I agree. Like the nationals has always been one of my favorite events to watch, even as a young boy. Not to say I'm old right now, but I would always watch the U.S. nationals with my parents on ABC, out of all channels. So it's always been a special event for me. So even if I'm on Twitter and I'm praising the U.S. skaters, I just want to let everyone know I'm not just being biased. It's just I love the United States, and that's one of the first events I started watching. So of course I will.
Wow, you're taking us back in time when nationals won ABC back in the late 90s, and Michelle Kwan had a fluff piece with whoever was the second, place finishing ladies. Oh, those were the good old days. So now we're just limited to Ice Network and NBC.
Yeah, and Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir, fun stuff. But we can
Mm,
go into that in a different
mm.
in a
Are we
different
are we
video.
playing drinking games this year?
Oh, to see how many times that Tara Lipinski says opens with a double axle, and
To get
then
her legs underneath her. What else? We drink every time Terry Lipinski says triple triple.
triple triple. Yep. Drinking water, people. Okay, everybody drink water. We're not like other people.
You're drinking
Who other-
water. I'm celebrating that weekend. Mm.
there you go. I will be like certain people where I just drink all the time. So hint, hint.
Absolutely. Okay, so this has been great. Thank you so much. We still have, gosh, a lot of our day left. So I hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. And thank you, viewers, for watching.
Of course. Thanks again for having me, Justin.
No problem. Bye, everyone.